Good morning everyone, I'm Cedric Gibeses and this is my report about house racing. Under house racing, there is the topic to be tackled: reason to race your house, methodology, and estimation. House racing. Racing a house is the process of house racing and building a new or extending the existing foundation below it. During the elevation, the process, most houses are separated from their foundations, raised with hydraulic jacks and held by temporary supports while a new or extended foundation is constructed. House raising is a lengthy process that involves separating a house from its foundation and temporarily raising it with hydraulic jacks. The process is similar but distinct from house moving, in which a house is transported some distance to a different location. House raising is a hefty undertaking as the utilities must be disconnected and reconnected. Truckloads of dirt must be excavated, and concrete walls need to be poured. The actual lifting of the structure involves long steel I-beams and hydraulic jacks. So next is reason to raise your house. If you were a hurricane victim, if your house was flooded by Hurricane Sandy or Irene and you'd like to prevent it from happening again, you should consider house raising and raise your house above the base flood elevation. If your home is in flood zone, whether or not you were in a victim of the storm, if your home is in a flood zone, you should raise house to protect it from future flooding. These zones are shown in the flood maps. Moderate to low risk areas are zones that begin with letters B, C, or X, and high risk zone starts with letter A or B. The most vulnerable homes are in the B zones, which are waterfront areas that are at high risk for flooding and subject to 3-foot breaking waves. But houses still need to be raised in the coastal A zones, which isn't as vulnerable as the B zone but it's still subjected to major damage. To lower your flood insurance. House raising will also lower your flood insurance in the long run. Under the Flood Insurance Reform Act of 2012, you could save more than $90,000 over 10 years if you raise your house 3 feet above the base flood elevation. And this is one reason to raise your house: to add more space. House raising add more usable space under your home. It's the perfect alternative if you are looking to add more square footage, but you don't want to build an extension that, for example, takes away backyard space. This added space could be used for storage or a nice basement. To strengthen, repair, or replace a foundation. The most effective way to repair or replace a foundation is by first raising and moving your house off the existing one. If a foundation needs to be strengthened or repaired, it may go through a process called underpinning. It may need helical piles or it may need both. Another reason to raise your house: to increase the value of your home. House raising increase its value and potential resale by an estimated 15 to 25%. Adding square footage along increases value. The more space, the more it's worth. As for potential resale, houses in flood zones that aren't raised are nearly impossible to sell because of flood insurance rates are so high. Next topic is the methodology. The methodology adapted to achieve above objective comprise of following steps. So, number 1, surveying of residential building is to be done before starting the process of house lifting. It's important to study the weak members and the members of the building which requires the support before lift. Number 2, load calculation of the building is done to get the numbers of jacks to apply for lifting the weight of the building, and the numbers of jacks are applied according to the area of the building. Total load of the building is divided with the capacity of jacks, which gives the number of jacks required to lift the building. Before starting lifting of the building, it's important and necessary to disconnect the supplies of the building like electricity, gas connection, drainage connection, and etc. to avoid the interruption in the work and for the safety of the people working. So, these are the calculation for the building. Load calculation for the building. Dead load of slab 0.10 times 1 times 25 is equal to 2.5 kN per m squared. Floor finish is equal to 10 kN over m squared. For the live load is equal to 3.0 kN over m squared. Total load is equal to 6.5 km m squared, and so on and so forth. So the next step is number 4. The support to weak members is provided to avoid falling of members down during the process of lifting, as the safety precaution is to ensure the safety of the building and workers. Generally, the support of I-beams are provided as the supports. At first, excavation is done near the walls for the application of the jacks. The jacks are applied below the ground beam or supports of steel beams. Number 6. The jacks are applied in the space of excavation, and the jacks are applied and the house is lifted by jacking and the jacks simultaneously. The jacks are removed and the parallel brick masonry is done to support lifting of the building. The brick masonry is to be done to act as the foundation of the building. It supports the whole building, and this ultimately increases the height of the building. The jacks are removed after the brick masonry is completed and can sustain or bear the load of the building. The pebbles and the marram are filled in the plinth are of the building. The backfilling of the sand should be well compacted to support the floor and the building. The flooring is done after the compacted soil filling. After the completion of the flooring, the supply connections are connected. After lifting the house is done, the filling of cracks is done with the cement grouting is done. So next topic is the estimation. The demolition cost of the building is excluded for the estimation of new construction because the scrap value is assumed equal to demolition charge, and therefore the cost of demolition is excluded. Estimation of the house lifting method by jacks include costs for breaking masonry work, flooring, plinth filling, and base material filling. The cost also includes charges of filling cracks and etc. if any found during the lifting of the house. So, estimation for new construction. Total quantity of different items for ground floor and first floor for new construction is combined and presented in a table. So item number 1. Earthwork includes excavation and foundation. The quantity is 71.64 m cube. The next is BBCC of proportion is 1:4:8 with brick bats including compaction, curing, and etc. The quantity is 16.53 m cube. Next is first class brick masonry is foundation cm is 1:6 up to plinth including curing. The quantity is 32.28 m cube. Next is backfilling with ordinary soil in foundation trenches. The quantity is 26.66 m cube. Backfilling with yellow soil in plinth including watering, compaction, and leveling. The quantity is 43.7 m cube. Next is the RCC work in ground beams including formwork, compaction, curing, but excluding the reinforcement. The quantity is 2.98 m cube. Next, first class brick masonry in superstructure including scaffolding, curing, in cement mortar 1:6, 0.3 m thick up to bottom level of beam after deduction for door and window. The quantity is 47.10 m cube. Next is first class brick masonry in W compound wall and bath and toilet 0.23 thickness in cement mortar. The quantity is 0.6.84 m cube. Next is first class brick masonry in cement mortar 1:6 including curing compound wall, bathroom, toilet, and stairway railing. The quantity is 36.93 m squared. Next is the RCC work including formwork, scaffolding, compaction, curing, excluding reinforcement in lintel, weather shed, beam, and slab. The quantity is 21.45 m cube. Next is the plastering and pointing 12 mm thick plastering with 1:6 cement, local sand mortar and walls, including scaffolding. The quantity is 534.95 m cube. Next is flooring, 2.5 cm cement concrete with a ratio of 1:2:4 floor. Ang quantity and 42.56 m cube. Next is flooring with ceramic tiles inside the house. The quantity is 86.24 m squared. Next is dado with wall tiles. Quantity is 28.76 m squared. Wall tiles, cream royal or Riveria in the kitchen. Quantity is 09.22 m squared. Woodwork indoor and window sill woodwork in chalk huts indoor and window. Quantity is 0.26 m cube. Sill woodwork in chalk huts indoor and window. 3 cm thick paneled shutters of deodar and wood indoor and window. The quantity is 24.40 m squared. Doors and windows fittings of oxidized iron. The quantity is 24.40 m squared. Steel and iron work steel reinforcement bars including bending in RCC work at 1% of RCC work excluding steps. The quantity is 19.28 mt. Iron work in hold fast and window bars. The quantity is 396.24 kg. Next is painting 2 coats over 1 coat of priming for door and window. The quantity is 48.72 m squared. This tempering one coat after one priming coat. The quantity is 396.5 m squared. Parapet wall, negative 0.10 m thick first class brick masonry in cement mortar with a ratio of 1:6 including curing on terrace. The quantity is 30.18 m squared. Plastering and pointing, negative 12 mm thick cm with a ratio of 1:6 both sides of parapet. The quantity is 33.50 m squared. Waterproofing using China mosaic and 50 mm thick cement mortar with a ratio of 1:6 including finishing, leveling and curing, etc. The quantity is 55.65 m squared. Next is the estimate for house lifting. Total quantity of different items per house is presented in table. Table quantities of different work items for house lifting. First, excavation for placing of jacks from plinth to depth of the footing. Quantity is 9.40 m cube. First class brick masonry above the foundation up to 1.5 m. Quantity is 12.97 m cube. Backfilling of rubble and sand marrom including compaction with watering and leveling. The quantity is 64.91 m cube. Flooring with ceramic tiles on ground floor above compacted soil backfilling. The quantity is 43.27 m squared. Filling of cracks by cement grouting including finishing. The quantity is 1 job. And jack application is 1 job. And that's all of my report. Thank you.